What is up, YouTube? It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another sequel prequel month. And I guess you know which movie I'm going to be reviewing next. No, it's not the Avengers, it's not Star Wars, it's not even Godzilla. It's right next to me, right here, the 2010 sequel to one of the most beloved B movies of the 1980s. It is a great sequel. I think it follows up just right with the first one, and that is Tron Legacy. Yes, it's a sequel, so it counts. And I've always wanted to review this movie because I think it just gets shit on for no reason whatsoever. There were a lot of things in that movie that I love about that movie. That movie has some of the most amazing visuals I've seen before Episode 7 came out, and even before Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the visual effects were robbed of an Oscar. They're stunning. They're gorgeous CGI. I mean, it looks great. It looks more futuristic than the first film. And the light cycle sequence, that was awesome to see in 3D in the theater. Great experience. I didn't get feel like I got ripped off. The film once again has a great lead. Garrett Hedlund is a great lead as Sam Flynn. He's the son to Jeff Bridges' character from the first film. Also, this movie introduced me to the gorgeous Olivia Wilde, who I've loved since the first day I saw her in that movie. I'm like, who is that? She is a knockout. She has this pale white skin and these gorgeous green eyes, and a wig that's like black, a bob hair, look, and she looks great. I loved her character. I think she was really cute, really sexy. She kicked ass in the film, and she served her purpose. And her and Sam had some pretty decent chemistry. A lot of people say the script is flimsy, but I'll get to that. Other things that I like, the score by Daft Punk is freaking awesome. I love it. It definitely sets the film high during a lot of tense action scenes. The soundtrack is great. It has a fast pace. It doesn't take an hour for something to happen. Once Sam gets into the grid, the movie just keeps going, and it's just great to look at. It's got a great sound. You got some decent characters I actually cared about, unlike another film I saw last year, Wink. And it was a really fun time in the theater. I'm glad. Now there were some negatives. Some of the CG, the villain doesn't work. Like Clue, trying to make Jeff Bridges look like 20 years younger didn't work. It looked crappy. It just looked fake. The face looks animated. It looks like a cartoon. That didn't work for me. Also, yeah, Jeff Bridges, he's good in the film for what he has to do. He doesn't have much to do, but at least his death at the end made sense. Unlike in another movie I saw on a bridge, Wink. But this movie was the closest to a Star Wars movie as I got before I saw Guardians, because Disney made it to over 20 years after the original. I thought it lived up to the hype. I thought it was better than Avatar. It didn't bore me to tears. It was much shorter. Like I said, the pacing is a lot better. It doesn't take an hour for something to happen. I think the director did a good job with this. I know he also did Oblivion a couple years later, which I'm looking forward to seeing because it's got Tom Cruise in it. And I think he deserves another chance. I think a third movie would be nice, but if that never happens, at least I got a second film. I respect the original Tron from '82. I didn't see it as a kid. I saw it months before I saw this movie, and I thought it was a great experience, and I wanted to see it again. I was like, cool, another Tron movie. It made enough to make another movie. I mean, this is better than The Lone Ranger or John Carter or freaking Tomorrowland, which I haven't seen because I heard terrible things. At least the film is consistent. It has flaws. Like I said, the villain doesn't work. Michael Sheen, I like him in the film. He's like a flamboyant version of like Eric Idle and David Bowie, and he's fun. He's always a fun actor. Boo Garrett, you have her. She's one of the ladies that wears white and paints her face. It's a really pseudo futuristic looking movie, and that's right up my alley. It's fun. Doesn't feel like a Disney film. It's PG, but it doesn't feel like a Disney movie. Like it doesn't feel like instead of blood, you have people derezzing and they get broken into pieces. It's freaking awesome. I love that. I like the action sequences. I think they look great. Garrett Hedlund is a great lead. Like I said, he's fun to watch. He's young and he's not some foreign douchebag like a lot of the movies that we got recently, like Amazing Spider-Man and Man of Steel and all these other films that have horrible leads that just bore me to tears. At least Garrett Hedlund is young and he was a good-looking guy and he did well in the film. I'm gonna give him props. I enjoy Tron Legacy. I think it's an underrated sequel. It's one of the better Disney movies that have come out in the last 6 years. That is not a remake. That is not a reboot. That is not a rehash. It does its own thing. It doesn't copy the first film. There's a lot of nods to the first film, but it doesn't have Sark as a villain. It doesn't have the MCP. It does its own thing, and I respect it for that. And that's why I saw it in the theater. That's why it was my third favorite movie from 2010, behind Toy Story 3 and a tie with the first Expendables movie and Iron Man 2 at that time, because those movies blew me away. But I really enjoy Tron Legacy. I have to get this on Blu-ray sometime because I think it's worth watching over and over again. It has a great direction. It has fun action sequences. A lot of people crapped on it because they said it didn't live up to the first one. I think it does. It didn't have to. It didn't piss me off like a lot of reboots and sequels have now. And the movie does its own thing. It's a sequel, not just in name only. Is Tron in the film that much? No, but it's not really his story. It's his legacy that he's passing on to another character, which I'm fine with, because Bruce Boxleitner was already old by the time this movie got greenlit, so he couldn't do much as Tron. But he's in the film, and then at the end, he fights for the losers. I mean, for the users, not the losers. And he does one final heroic thing before he passes the torch, which that's how I saw the film. And I enjoy the film. I don't think it's horrible. It's a kind of sci-fi that I enjoy. It didn't have some stupid girl with superpowers. It didn't have a crappy ending. It followed the first film right, and it had a lot of nods to the first film without it being a fan service movie or nostalgia porn like Jurassic World. I really enjoyed Tron Legacy. I had got this poster at Blockbuster before they closed. I got it for like 51 cents. Great deal. It's still in decent condition. I love it sitting in my room because it reminds me that sci-fi can be epic. It doesn't have to be boring. Look at my shirt. Groot. Awesome freaking character. He's a little tree, and he's more interesting than a lot of human characters I've seen in recent stuff, like Jupiter Ascending or stuff like that. But Tron Legacy is a good one. I would advise you see the first one, then go see this film and give it a chance. Don't just say, "Oh, the critics hated it, so I'm going to hate it." No, make your own decisions. Don't listen to critics. I never do anymore. So I'm tired of them saying, "Oh, the movie looks good, but it has no plot." I follow the plot precisely. Sam misses his father. He grows up and he's looking for his father in the grid. That's all this plot you need. You don't need some pretentious bullshit that you get in freaking Prometheus. That's not what the kind of sci-fi I need. I need more sci-fi like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. It's my favorite genre. It always will be. But anyway, that's my review of Tron Legacy. I think it's a great sequel. It follows the first one just right. It's a fun Disney movie. It doesn't piss me off like so many other movies have done recently, especially, this year, Jungle Book. Yeah, I didn't want to see that. Beauty and the Beast coming out next year, just not worth it. But Tron Legacy is fun. It does its own story, and I can respect it for that wholeheartedly. So anyway, thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, guys. You guys are what rock, and I will see you in the next one. I will get to the other sequels later down the road. So see you later.